Hello, dear friends. This I'm okay. I'm not gonna sun a lot in this video. This video is, hey, my face. I'm just gonna do this. This video is going to be a lot different. I don't have any fancy intro for you. I don't have a nice little aesthetic thing for you. I really just want us to get to the meat of the situation, because I think this conversation is very beneficial and should be eye-opening for some. So stay tuned, and I want you to just listen. I don't necessarily want you to just I just want you to just listen and sit with this conversation. There will be different parts of this conversation, and this is not the last conversation that we'll have on these two topics, but I just wanted to speak on identity and church hurt. These are two things that I see are very prominent at this time, and I want us as believers and as those who are chiming into a believer's conversation, I want us to have critical thinking. I want us to be critical thinkers. I want us to actually dive into the hard topics of what we believe. So I hope you enjoy this, and we will be doing these topics again. Okay. Enjoy the show.
Very dapper. I look very dapper.
You need to wear a tie.
I did need to wear a tie. Yes, I did. I enjoy wearing shoes. It makes me feel. Hold on.
Great.
Okay, I'm gonna stop. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna have to record like this, or like I look like somebody's dad. Is this good? Huh. Okay, I'm gonna record it like this. Okay, so I decided to stop. I mean, just for today, not record in my room or the Power Rangers Spider-Man area. I decided to record here in one of my living spaces. But today it's gonna be very short. The reason why I'm wearing this is because I had to go to GSMST. But anyways, I wanted to talk about identity. I'm gonna say something. I'm not really preaching to you, but I hope you understand the message that I'm conveying through this story. Now, my name, although some of you may be shocked, my name is Guillaume. My name is not Guillaume. My name is not Garam. My name is not Guyram. My name is not Guillaume. My name is not even Guy_Ram, although that's a play on my name. My name is not GM. My name is not Guillaume. My name is not Gum. My name is not Guillaume. My name is Guillaume. It's supposed to be pronounced in French. But my entire life, there was always someone who didn't understand my name. It was either in a positive or in a negative way. It could just be due to ignorance or arrogance or both. Now, for those who truly don't understand or say my name, I have grace for them because I know you just don't know how to say it. But there were those who did kind of try to make fun of my name and all that stuff. And at the time, I was really affected by it. And at the time, I did not understand that my name had meaning, even if no one else understood the meaning. You know why? Because my father gave me that name. Is catching on? My father was the one who gave me that name for a reason. It's a name that it belongs to no one else but me. Although my name is very hard to pronounce. He wanted me to have a beautiful name. He wanted me to be set apart. He wanted me to not be as everyone else. I'm not a Jaden. I'm not a Jalen. I'm not a Jordan. I'm not a whatever other name, stereotypical name you can think of. My name is Guillaume. And a lot of things. Another thing is people don't know how to say the name of my series. It's CHAIRENE. It's not Charlene. It's not Sharon. And I understand. You just don't know how to say it. I get that. It's French, or it's supposed to be pronounced in French. It is not Sharon. It's not Charlene. It's not CHAIRENE. I don't know why people assume that that's what the name is, but no, I'm not stealing someone's name. That's my middle name. It is a mixture of my mother and father's name, Charles and Irene, Charles and Irene. Together, CHAIRENE. But back to my name being Guillaume. So my father was the one who appointed me and gave me that name. Even the very way he raised me up, he called me to be different and unlike most, for a reason, to appear set apart. Not because he hated me, no, but because he wanted me to be set apart. He loved me too much to see me go the normal way. Now, even though I did not have Christ at the time, I still had a sense of fundamental understanding of what being set apart was, even if it was subconscious, because that's the way my father raised me up. Whether it was intentional or unintentional, the culture my father lived in and the culture that I live in now are very different. And because I was raised around my father, that is what I naturally grew up to be like. I spent time with him. Another thing is, I would have never understood the importance, meaning, or understanding of my name if I did not know my father. If I did not have the time to speak to my father. He's the one who gave me the name. You understand what I'm saying? It's making more sense, yes. So, do not be ashamed of your name. Even if you don't know your name right now, your father knows your name. And even when you receive that name, if no one else understands the name, embrace the name, for that is who you are. That name belongs to no one else. Sometimes that name is hard to carry. That name can be very hard to carry. I understand that. Sometimes that name holds some weight. I understand that. Sometimes you need to take care of the name, of your identity. Your identity is who your father calls you to be. My father called me Guillaume, and he raised me in a way that was set apart. So it was not just what I did that made me set apart, but it was who I was already that automatically set me apart. That's why people say that, and people who are close to me, they see my name and they hear it, they're like, oh yeah, only your dad could come up with something like this. Because that's I would have never thought of that. Only your dad can think of something like that. It's a stamp of his creativity. Your name. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. In other words, he who has ears to hear, let them hear. If you understood what I said, great. If you didn't understand what I said, it's all good, man. Hopefully you did. But yeah, I'm gonna go change because this is low-key kind of hot. Okay, goodbye. We need to learn how to be real with one another. And not just follow your favorite influencer due to a parasocial relationship that you build off of the desperation of longing. And here's what we need to talk about. The pain that you experience from the church. Because there are Christians now who have the belief that they don't need people. All they got is God, the Bible, and I'm good. Don't believe that lie. Christ himself placed one of the most fundamental things that you need as a Christian, which is the church. You need to understand that you need people to build you up and to help you in this life. But let's get real. People are people. People are very human. People mess up. And it's much worse when people don't know the truth for themselves. They will tell you theirs. My entire life, I'm surrounded by people in the churches and churches that I had to leave, people that I had to stop talking to because at the time I didn't understand. But then seeing the effect of the church and the pain that it had on my family, eventually I got to the age where I myself experienced that. And it's hard. And even now I still struggle to I still kind of I still kind of struggle to get into depth of that because it's very difficult to speak of, you know. Because maybe whether or not it was intentional, it hurts. But don't mistake the people who pained you or who gave you pain in the church with Christ. Do not mistake those two as the same thing. Once you do that, you will always have the belief that you don't need anyone. I was heavily into a church. Well, at the time I was like 5 years old, but I was heavily into a church, and I loved that church so much because I had so many people that I knew there and I grew up with, partially. Eventually, one day, we decided, as a unit, as a family, to leave that church. What I did not know at the time was that the people at that church began to speak negatively about us because we left. They began to talk about us and our family. They began to demean our family. At the time, I was not aware of this, you know. And I see the mental toll that it took on my parents. More so my father, because my father has already experienced some level of that. I don't mean to kind of just drop all the info out, but I need you to understand what I'm trying to say. So, to this day, we've never gone back to that church. But now we have a new church, and this is the church that I've been going to as of right now. And I love this church so much. But even there, even in the place where you assume that it's the best, sometimes you can still experience pain. But even if you're in the perfect environment, if you're dealing with another human being, you're going to experience some level of pain or letdown. I'm sorry. At any relationship, you're going to experience some level of pain or letdown. Now, I'm not condoning abuse. I'm not condoning verbal abuse. I'm not condoning physical abuse. I'm not condoning gaslighting. I'm not condoning bad behavior. I'm not condoning inconsistency. I'm just saying, as a human being, there's going to be at some point where either someone fails you or you fail them. But let's get back to the point. So that's what I experienced at these churches. A lot of people that I entrusted and that I looked up to let me down and let a group of people down. I'm not putting the blame on anyone. That's not what I'm trying to say. That's not the point of what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people are bad. I'm saying that people are human. That's what I'm saying. And with these people, you have to have enough grace on them, and you have to understand and look through their eyes what really happened. Because if you hold that resentment in your heart, you will never be able to heal and cultivate with people. That's what we're called to do as human beings. And don't let anyone else convince you of that otherwise. Please don't convince you otherwise. Please do not do that. Please don't. Understand it's a very enticing lie to believe that you don't need anyone. But your life will plummet. Now, what I will say to those who have experienced that level of pain and hurt in the church, I see you, I hear you. I am one of you. I was one of you. I'm still unlearning that pain. And it's hard to unlearn when you don't know what to do. That's the point of giving it to Christ. Number 2, I can say surround yourself with people. Sometimes you don't know who they are. And I get that. Because life is messy. Life sucks sometimes. But the goal is to not ride the wave of pain. Do not ride the wave of unforgiveness. Go against the current. I encourage you to go against the current. I want to do something a little different today. Hopefully the sound does not get affected, but I want to do something a little different today where let me see how I sound first. Hold on. Okay, I sound great. I want to have a friend of mine speak for me. Now, I have 2 phones at the moment. This is very convenient because look at how God works. But anyways, I need someone else to speak. Church hurt is something that I really wanted to talk about, but I didn't want you to just give my opinion. I will call up a friend. Technically, we kind of already had this conversation, so I think he already knows why I'm about to call him. That's okay. I'm just going to do it again. He's going to answer. Oh, perfect. So you already know I'm calling you, which is great. And I'm already recording, so that's fine. I already told him that you know why. So I kind of, well, just a little quick rundown. I kind of want you to share your testimony, well, a little bit of your testimony, and also more so your experience with church hurt and kind of baggage from the church. If you could kind of just speak on that a little bit, because I don't want them to just hear my story and then not anyone else's, you know? So
Yeah.
it lets you speak real quick. I hope they can hear you.
I hope so too.
It's great.
All right. Where do I start? Okay, so like as I was getting, further into my teenage years, I really was struggling with my identity, and I was just really struggling with my identity and with my sexuality. And at the time, it was, for many reasons, like even dating back to my childhood, but like it was simply just like a mix of, to sum it up, I just like had a mix of not really being sure who I was and who God called me to be, but then also just from I guess you could say outside perspectives of people just looking at me at face value and then already making up their mind about me or what I am. And so at the time I was just really struggling with that, and more than I gave myself credit for. And so around that time, this gets into the church hurt too, because around that time, there were, I'm sure you know as well, that there was just complications in our church and in our youth group especially, where things were said, people were very important people in my life were leaving.
Right.
And it just left me very vulnerable,
Yeah.
It's like these authority figures in my life, they drifted away at a time when I really needed them the most. And because I became so dependent on them as well.
Right.
So, it just left me even more unsure about who I was. So it's like now it's like I already had to, deal with my own internal struggles, but then on top of that, now I got to deal with this church hurt. So it's just baggage on baggage on baggage.
Right.
And I feel like people really underestimated how that situation affected, not just me, but all of us in the youth that remember what happened. It's like we all, I say, lost some people in our life that we really depended on for guidance.
Yeah.
And so that just led us even more astray and forced us to pretty much grow up quickly.